Marcus stared at the eviction notice taped to his apartment door, his hands trembling slightly as he read the bold letters for the third time that morning. 3 days. That's all he had left before everything he owned would be sitting on the curb. The tech startup he'd been working for had collapsed overnight, taking his steady paycheck and his carefully planned future with it. He walked inside and slumped onto his worn couch, pulling out his phone to check his bank account. The numbers glowed mockingly on the screen. $287.43. Enough for maybe a week of food if he stretched it, but nowhere near enough for rent, utilities, or any of the other bills stacking up on his kitchen counter. Marcus ran his fingers through his hair, feeling the weight of failure pressing down on his shoulders. At 28, he thought he had it all figured out. The startup job had seemed like a golden ticket, but now he was just another statistic in the endless cycle of failed ventures and broken promises. His eyes drifted to the diploma hanging on the wall, slightly crooked in its cheap frame. Licensed massage therapist. He'd earned that certification 5 years ago, back when he still believed in having backup plans. It had paid his way through college, funded late-night study sessions, and helped him build a decent savings account. But once the tech job came along, he'd abandoned his massage practice without a second thought, letting his client list dissolve and his skills gather dust. Now that diploma might be the only thing standing between him and complete disaster. Marcus opened his laptop and began updating his resume, his fingers hesitating over the keyboard. How did you explain a 5-year gap in hands-on experience? How did you convince someone to take a chance on you when you'd basically walked away from the profession? He spent the next 2 days applying to every massage therapy position within a 50-mile radius. Luxury spas, medical clinics, chiropractic offices, hotel wellness centers. He sent his resume everywhere, each application feeling like a message in a bottle tossed into an endless ocean. His phone remained stubbornly silent, except for automated rejection emails and spam calls about his car's extended warranty. By the third day, Marcus had exactly $143 left after buying groceries. He'd eaten nothing but rice, eggs, and whatever canned goods he could find in his pantry. The eviction deadline loomed closer with every passing hour, and he still hadn't received a single callback. He was lying on his couch, staring at the ceiling and contemplating which friend's floor he might crash on when his phone finally rang. The number was local but unfamiliar. Marcus sat up quickly, his heart hammering as he answered. "Hello, is this Marcus Chen?" a cheerful female voice asked. "Yes, speaking," Marcus replied, trying to keep the desperation out of his voice. "Hi, Marcus. This is Jennifer from Peak Performance Fitness Center. We received your application for a massage therapist position, and I have to say, your credentials are impressive. Are you still available?" Marcus's breath caught. Peak Performance was one of the premier fitness facilities in the city, a massive complex with Olympic-sized pools, state-of-the-art equipment, and a clientele that included professional athletes and celebrities. "Yes, absolutely, I'm available," he said quickly. "Wonderful. We actually have an urgent situation. Our competitive women's fitness team, they're training for nationals, their regular massage therapist had a family emergency and had to leave town indefinitely. We need someone who can handle the physical demands of working with 40 elite athletes. Would you be interested in coming in tomorrow for a trial session?" 40 athletes, Marcus's mind raced. That was a massive undertaking, especially for someone who hadn't worked professionally in 5 years. But this was also the only opportunity he'd gotten, and beggars couldn't afford to be choosers. "I'd be honored," Marcus said, projecting confidence he didn't entirely feel. "What time should I arrive?" "Can you be here at 6 a.m.? The team trains early, and they'll need treatment before their afternoon session." 6 a.m. meant he'd have to wake up at 4:30 to prepare, but Marcus would have agreed to show up at midnight if that's what it took. "I'll be there." That night, Marcus barely slept. He spent hours watching YouTube videos, refreshing his knowledge of sports massage techniques, muscle anatomy, and injury prevention. His hands moved through the motions automatically, muscle memory slowly returning from years of intensive training and practice. He laid out his portable massage table, organized his oils and tools, and set 3 different alarms. When Marcus arrived at peak performance the next morning, the sky was still dark and the parking lot was already half full. The building was enormous, all glass and chrome and modern architecture that screamed money and success. He felt distinctly out of place in his worn jeans and wrinkled button-down shirt, carrying his massage table case like a traveling salesman from another era. Jennifer met him in the lobby, an energetic woman in her early 40s with kind eyes and a firm handshake. "Marcus, thank you so much for coming on such short notice. Let me show you where you'll be working." She led him through a maze of corridors to a spacious treatment room with soft lighting, calming music, and enough space for 2 massage tables. The room smelled of eucalyptus and lavender, and Marcus felt some of his anxiety ease. "The team will be here in 20 minutes, Jennifer explained. They've been training intensively for 3 months straight, and honestly, they're all pretty beat up. Some have chronic tension issues, others are dealing with minor injuries. They need someone who really understands athletic performance and recovery." Marcus nodded, setting up his table with practiced efficiency. His hands moved automatically, checking the height, arranging his supplies, warming his massage oil. It felt strangely natural, like slipping into an old jacket that still fit perfectly despite the years. The first athlete arrived right on schedule. Her name was Amanda, and she was the team captain, a power lifter with shoulders like a linebacker and a wince that suggested her upper back was killing her. Marcus had her lie face down and began his assessment, his hands carefully probing the muscles along her spine, feeling for adhesions, trigger points, and areas of inflammation. "Oh my God," Amanda groaned as Marcus began working on a particularly tight knot near her shoulder blade. "Where have you been all my life?" Marcus smiled, feeling his confidence grow with each passing minute. His hands remembered what his mind had almost forgotten: the precise pressure needed to release tension without causing pain, the rhythm and flow that turned massage from mere pressure into healing art. He worked methodically through Amanda's back, shoulders, and neck, finishing with some gentle stretches that made her joints pop satisfyingly. "That was incredible," Amanda said when he finished, rolling her shoulders experimentally. "I feel like a completely different person." Word spread quickly through the team. By mid-morning, Marcus had a line of athletes waiting outside his treatment room. Each one presented unique challenges: runners with tight hip flexors, swimmers with rotator cuff issues, weightlifters with overworked trapezius muscles. Marcus approached each session with total focus, adjusting his techniques to match their specific needs and training demands. Sarah, a distance runner, came in limping slightly from IT band syndrome. Marcus spent 45 minutes working on her legs, using deep tissue techniques and myofascial release to break up the adhesions causing her pain. By the time she finished, she was moving freely, her eyes wide with amazement. "I've been to so many therapists," she said, "and nobody's been able to help like this. You're like a magician." Keisha, a CrossFit specialist, had chronic tension headaches from overworking her neck and upper traps. Marcus used a combination of trigger point therapy and craniosacral work, his hands gentle but precise. 10 minutes into the session, she was nearly in tears of relief. "I've had this headache for 3 weeks," she whispered. "It's gone. It's actually gone." By lunchtime, Marcus had treated 22 athletes, and his hands were starting to tire, but there was a light in his eyes that had been missing for months. This wasn't just work, it was purpose. Every grateful smile, every expression of relief reminded him why he'd chosen this profession in the first place. During the brief break, Jennifer brought him water and a protein bar. "The team is raving about you," she said. "I've been getting texts all morning. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." The afternoon session was even busier. Athletes who'd already received treatment were coming back with teammates, telling them they had to experience Marcus's work. He treated shoulders, backs, legs, feet. Every part of the human body seemed to need attention after months of intensive training. His technique evolved with each session, becoming more fluid, more intuitive, more effective. Maya, a gymnast with chronic ankle instability, was skeptical when she limped in. "I've tried everything," she said flatly. "Physical therapy, acupuncture, cortisone shots, nothing helps." Marcus examined her ankle carefully, feeling the scar tissue and weakness in the supporting ligaments. He worked slowly, using gentle mobilizations and soft tissue work to improve circulation and range of motion. It took nearly an hour, but by the end, Maya was standing on the ankle with no pain, tears streaming down her face. "I thought I'd have to quit competing," she said quietly. "Thank you." As the day wore on, Marcus fell into a rhythm that felt almost meditative. His hands moved with confidence and precision, finding problems and solving them, bringing relief to bodies pushed to their absolute limits. The athletes' trust in him grew with each session, and they began opening up about their training struggles, their fears, their dreams. By 6 p.m., Marcus had treated all 40 team members. He was exhausted, his hands aching and his back sore from bending over the massage table all day, but he felt more alive than he had in years. This was what he'd been missing in the sterile world of tech startups: direct human connection, tangible results, the satisfaction of genuinely helping people. Jennifer found him as he was packing up his equipment. "Marcus, can we talk in my office?" His stomach clenched. Was this where they told him thanks but no thanks? That they'd call him if they needed him again? He followed her down the hallway to a spacious office overlooking the gym floor. "Sit down," Jennifer said, gesturing to a chair. She pulled out a folder and opened it, revealing what looked like a contract. "I've been doing this job for 15 years, and I've never seen anything like what happened today. The team is unanimous. They want you as their full-time massage therapist." Marcus's breath caught. Full-time. 40 hours a week, health benefits, paid vacation, and a salary that I think you'll find very competitive. She slid a paper across the desk, and Marcus's eyes widened at the number. It was more than he'd been making at the startup. "We need someone who can start immediately," Jennifer continued. "The team competes in 6 weeks, and they need consistent care between now and then. After nationals, we'd want you to continue working with the team and potentially expand to working with our other members. What do you say?" Marcus looked down at the contract, his mind reeling. 24 hours ago, he'd been staring at an eviction notice with $143 in his bank account and no prospects. Now he was being offered a full-time position at one of the city's premier fitness facilities, doing work that actually mattered to him. "I say yes," Marcus said. "Absolutely yes." Jennifer grinned and extended her hand. "Welcome to Peak Performance, Marcus. I have a feeling you're going to do great things here." As Marcus drove home that evening, the city lights blurring past his windows, he felt a profound sense of rightness settle over him. The tech startup had seemed like success, but it had been hollow, unfulfilling, a paycheck without purpose. This was different. This was using his hands and his knowledge to help people achieve their dreams, to heal pain and prevent injury, to make a tangible difference in their lives. He thought about the diploma hanging crooked on his wall, the certification he'd almost given up entirely. It turned out that backup plan wasn't a consolation prize. It was the main event all along. Sometimes you had to lose everything to remember what really mattered, to rediscover the skills and passions you'd left behind in pursuit of someone else's definition of success. Marcus pulled into his apartment complex and sat in his car for a moment, savoring the feeling of hope restored. In 3 days, he wouldn't be facing eviction. He'd be signing a lease renewal. In 6 weeks, he'd be helping 40 elite athletes compete at nationals. And in the months and years to come, he'd be building a career that actually meant something, one healing touch at a time. The next morning, Marcus returned to Peak Performance with his eviction notice crumpled in his pocket and a spring in his step. The team was waiting for him, their faces lighting up when he walked into the treater room. "Ready to do this again?" Jennifer asked, popping her head in. Marcus smiled, warming his massage oil and preparing his table. "Let's get to work."